Do you want to be frugal this Christmas? I am going to give you some frugal hacks from the 1940s all the way up to relatively today. I don't want to give you any more frugal hacks of today because we all know them by now, right? And if you don't know them, I'll link some videos down in the description box below so you can have a look. But these Christmas hacks are ones that your grandma would use, your great grandma, 1940s, 50s, 60s, 70s and beyond. I want to give you some of those Christmas hacks to help you save money in the cost of living. It's just everything is so expensive now, and it's just really hard to budget and save and everything else that we need to do with our life. So I want to help you out a little bit, and I'm going to give you 10 frugal hacks from way back when. Number one is to use newspaper or brown paper to wrap up your presents. Now, I read this and I thought, brown paper is still quite expensive these days. It isn't cheap, is it? Wrapping paper with the stupid little Santas on, that's cheaper than actual brown paper. However, I don't know if you go into Asda or Tesco or any other supermarket, unless you're an online shopper, and you walk past and there are newspapers of generally what's going on in your area. There's lots of them in Asda. They always have them every single week. So why don't you just pick a couple up? They're free. You don't have to pay for them. Pick up a few of the newspapers and wrap your presents in newspaper. Put a pretty little bow on and it would look lovely. So just make sure that on the front of it, when you wrap in, there's no kind of like convict or murderer on the front page. Maybe turn that over, so have something a little bit more jolly. But if you're really struggling and you really want to cut costs and you really want to be frugal, in the 1940s, 1950s, they used newspaper. So even if you buy a daily newspaper still, I mean, I'm sure some people do, keep them. Make sure that there's no murderer or horrible happening event in the world, and use that to wrap up your presents. Or you could do what my brother suggested once, a very long time ago. Luckily, he didn't do it, but you could do it if you wanted to. And that is to use tin foil. So his reasoning was, if you use tin foil, it's shiny. Christmas present's got to be shiny, right? And once you've took the tin foil off, you can use it for Christmas dinner. So he had a point. The second one is to make your own Christmas crackers. You get the toilet roll holders, the kitchen roll holders. Once you've finished, obviously, with the tissue, you use that. You could stuff it with tissue, and you could stuff it with like a little firecracker if you wanted to, but you don't have to because you want to save yourself a little bit more money. You could put a little joke in there. You could get a little toy to put in there. Get a big pack of like toys, like £1 from Poundland or from Home Bargains. You know, the ones that you put in like birthday party stuff. You could put those in, or you could go around your house and have a declutter. I had a declutter last week. Go and check that video out in the description box below. And if there's anything in there that you could put in a Christmas cracker, then why don't you do that and make your own Christmas crackers? Then you just got to wrap them up in some nice Christmas fancy paper, maybe not newspaper, or you could do newspaper and you could paint them. That's a craft for the kids, isn't it? There you go, 2 in 1. And you've got your Christmas crackers homemade, ready for Christmas dinner. Third thing people did in the 1940s, 1950s was they would repurpose their jars. So I have peanut butter in a glass jar, my honey's in a glass jar. Any jars that you have, glass jars, don't throw them away in the recycling. Keep them, wash them out, make them smell all nice and not like peanut butter, and you could reuse them for gifts. So if you are going to make homemade gifts, maybe you're going to make some shortbread biscuits, or you're going to make some chocolate fudge, or you're going to make something where you need a jar for it, then rather than throw that jar away and go and buy new jars, keep the old ones and put all your gifts in the new jar. Put a little bow on it, put some ribbon around it, and you've got a homemade gift already there. You can also, with the jar, you can make little pamper jars as well. You can put some cotton wool pads in, a nail varnish, a little nail file, and again, put a bow on it and put some ribbon around it. and you've got another little Christmas present. If you would like me to do a video on Christmas hampers and Christmas jars and DIY gifts, let me know in the comment box below and I will get that for you as soon as possible. Number 4, another thing they used to do in the 40s and 50s was they used to buy families one shared present. So let's just say you've got a brother and he's got his own family like I do. Rather than buy them each individual presents, you buy one present for the whole family. It could be a hamper of a game night. I did that once for my brother and his family. I put a board game in, I put some snacks in, I put some playing cards in there as well. I made a big hamper and it was a shared gift. You could do one with biscuits and sweets and chocolate. You could do a range of them. I will do the video. I know I've asked you, but I'm going to do it anyway because there's so much I've got to say. But if you are doing Christmas on a very, very tight budget and you have families that you need to purchase presents for, doing a shared present and finding items from charity shops or car boots or Facebook Marketplace or even Vinted is actually going to help you save a lot more money. Number 5 is to make your own homemade Christmas decorations. You can do this by doing salt dough. I used to do this a lot when my kid was a toddler. You make like this salt dough thing, you put handprints in, you can make different shapes, just leave it to dry, or I think you bake it in the oven. I cannot remember for the life of me, but I'm sure someone's going to tell me. And then you can paint it, you can decorate it however you want. It's a great thing to do on a rainy, winter, cold day where you've got nothing to do, you can't really take the kids out, and set the table up for Christmas crafts and you can make your own homemade decorations. You can even make paper chains. I used to make paper chains all the time when I was a kid, and there's loads of different ideas that you can use on Pinterest, and you can use things around your house, like I said with the homemade crackers, and you can even use the repurposed jars that I spoke about and you can decorate those. You could put a little light on the actual lid, and on the outside of the jar you could decorate it and make like Christmas trees and reindeers and all those different things with like acrylic paint, I think. Turn the light on, screw the lid on, put it upside down, and you've got yourself a little Christmas lantern that you would have made all by yourself and the kids would have made, and it's going to save you a lot of money. Then keep going out and buying these decorations that, to be honest, please tell me if I'm wrong, don't really last much longer than a year, maybe 2, do they? For their break-in, and then they just look tacky again. So making your own will save you a lot of money in the long run. Okay, the next one is second-hand clothes. So let's just say you've got a little boy or a little girl that's maybe about 6 or 7, but you've got someone else in your family that maybe they're 4 or 5. Their old clothes, if they are in good condition, wrap them up as a present for that little girl or that little boy who's slightly younger. It's going to save you money. It's going to help out those other parents because it will help save their money, and you're getting things out of your house and you're passing clothes down to somebody else that is going to make use of it. You may think that's not a really good thing, or you may think that's a little bit tight, but if you are struggling this Christmas and you need to do things on a budget and you've got things around your house that are in really good condition that you could give to somebody else, you're just repurposing and recycling other things for Christmas presents, go for it. I would do it in a heartbeat. I haven't got anybody that I could hand the clothes down to, which is why I sell them. But if I had somebody that I need to hand it down to, that is something that I would definitely do. Number 7 is to have a Christmas night. Number 7 is to have a Christmas Day, Christmas night in, rather than a Christmas Day or Christmas night out. Now, Christmas is obviously just around the corner, which is why I'm doing this video. And going to see Santa, going to the pantomime, going to do Christmas activities and events all cost money, and if you've got 2 or 3 kids, that is not cheap. And if you really can't afford it, then have a Christmas Day and a Christmas night in rather than a Christmas Day or Christmas night out. So you can actually get pantomimes from previous years on YouTube. They might even do it on the BBC iPlayer. I'm not sure, you'll have to check. But you could do, okay, afternoon in, we're going to go to the pantomime this afternoon, but instead what we're going to do, we're going to put it on our TV, we're going to get the snacks in. You could even make cakes and make sweets and make things with the kids in the morning. In the afternoon, you sit down with all those snacks and you watch panto. And then in the evening, you can do Christmas games, or you can watch a Christmas movie, or you could do anything Christmas related, or even that day put up your Christmas tree with the kids, and you've had a Christmas day and night in rather than a Christmas day or night out. it's going to be a lot cheaper, and it is good quality time with your family. So if you are on a tight budget this year and you just cannot afford to take them out and spend all that money on pantomime and Santa visits or light trails or anything else you want to do, opt for a Christmas day and night in rather than one out. However, if you want to take them out, check your Facebook community boards. A lot of people do a lot of free events that you can go to, so your kid can still see Santa, can still soak up that Christmas spirit without you spending a penny, especially if you take your own drinks and snacks. Number 8 is to make your own homemade gifts. Now, I've mentioned before about your own homemade hampers and jars, but you could also do your homemade photo frames, homemade jewelry, homemade baking. You could do so much homemade that it's going to cost you a fraction of the cost if you bought it new. If you're going to do homemade baking gifts and you're going to make some shortbread or a Christmas cake or something to gift to your family members, you might think that the ingredients are actually going to cost more than the present. However, the ingredients is going to make you a lot more, therefore you'll be able to gift more than one person. So if you're going to make your own shortbread, you're going to do like a little hamper, which I've done previously in the past and it went down so well. I brought all the ingredients and it did cost me quite a lot of money. However, I was able to gift 5 people a hamper for Christmas. I spent just over about £60 for all the ingredients, but I was able to give 5 people presents out of that £60. Now, this was a few years ago, and with the cost of living, that's probably gone up quite a lot, but it's still worth doing if I can give 5 people the same present, and it's not going to cost me as much if I spent £60 on each person. So think about doing homemade gifts. What could you do? Could you do some baked goods? Could you make your own photo frames? Could you make your own jewelry? Are you good at crocheting and knitting? Could you crochet a jumper or a scarf, or knit a scarf or knit a jumper? I don't really know what the difference is between crochet and knitting. Someone let me know in the comments. But doing something homemade is actually going to save you money. Even though the initial cost might be a little bit more, you'll be able to gift a lot more people. Number 9, what they used to do back in the day is their stocking was only a few items. It wasn't a lot of things. They had like an orange, they had some chocolate, they had like 5 or 6 things in there. You see people's stockings these days and they are full to the brim, and then they've got presents on top, and that's why we feel like we've got to keep up with Christmas so much and it becomes so expensive. So maybe your stocking that you give to your kids just has 3 or 4 items in rather than lots of different things in. I know some people already do that, but the things I've seen on YouTube, Instagram and TikTok, their stockings alone must be worth hundreds, and then they've got their presents on top of it. Now, I'm going to quickly run through what was in people's stockings in the 40s, 50s, 60s and 70s. You ready? Stay with me. In the 40s, it was the wartime and it was the rationing. So there was an orange or an apple. There were nuts that were in shells. There was a coin like a 6pence or something, which if you're too young, you won't know what that is. I didn't have 6pence when I was a kid, but I still know what one was. There was a few sweets in there. There was a toy in there. Mostly it was a handmade toy, like a rag doll or something. Then there was a practical item such as a handkerchief, socks or mittens. In the 1950s, there was a chocolate coin. There was a yo-yo, a skipping rope or some marbles. You could have a small jigsaw puzzle or a colouring book. Pencils, crayons or chalk, or you'd have a knitted scarf, gloves or hat. That was in the 1950s and the 1960s. So let's move on to the 1970s. What was in a stocking in the 1970s? In the 70s, you had a chocolate selection box. And, you know, they were quite big back then. Not these little tiny ones that you got to pay a fortune for. They were quite big back then. You used to have a selection box. You used to have a comic or an annual, like Beano or Dandy or, what was the girl ones? Something 17, just 17 or something like that. I don't know if that was the 70s or the 80s, 90s, but I remember those. I remember Beano and Dandy though, my brother had them. A stationery set, there used to be a little toy like a plastic car, spinning top or a doll. And then you would have some bubble bath or some kind of novelty soap or something in your stocking. And finally, moving on to the 80s, the era I was born. Born in the 80s, grew up in the 90s, best era. Let me know if you are an 80s, 90s kid. Their stockings, that's when it started to grow and get a little bit bigger than the rest of them. In the 1980s, you used to have a chocolate coin and a selection box in the 1980s. You used to have stickers and a sticker book. So it used to be football stickers and a sticker book, or I know now they do like a stitch one. I can't remember what we had when we were kids, but I remember collecting stickers and a sticker book. That used to always be in the stocking as well. Used to have small gadgets or little key rings, you know, pointless key rings. That used to always be in the stocking. And then you used to have like a mini game. So it was like Etch-a-Sketch. Remember those little Etch-a-Sketch, but like the little mini ones, not the big massive ones. That was also a big present that you had in the 80s, but these are little tiny mini ones. You used to have Etch-a-Sketch. Or you used to have like a travel game like Connect 4, which was like the best thing ever. That was always in our stocking too. That's also a really good idea, to put little mini games, travel games in the stocking. That's a really good idea that you could do. And then we used to have like lip glosses or little perfume samples or novelty socks or something in there. But the best thing was a cassette tape, wasn't it? Either an actual cassette tape of music or a blank one ready for you to make your own mixtape with the radio on Top 40 on every Sunday when you're there and pushing those buttons before they start speaking again so you get the whole song. Yeah? Anyone else do that? Everybody did that in the 80s and 90s. So stockings these days do not need to be lots of different things. Take some ideas from that, some kind of chocolate, maybe some fruit, some nuts, a little toy, maybe a colouring book, and maybe some stickers and a sticker book. You don't need to have lots in there. It's just something small. I know some people do that, but other people go absolutely insane on them, and you really don't have to. In your stocking this year, just go basic. The kids are still going to love it. And finally, number 10, not something you can really do for this year, but to prepare yourself for next year, is any Christmas cards that you receive this year, cut them up so you can use the picture as gift tags for next year. And yes, some of them are big, but when you have the ones from school, I don't know if your kids give Christmas cards out to their school friends, a lot of them are the little tiny ones. So cut them up. Cut them up and use them as gift tags for next year. You put a hole punch right in the middle at the top of the card, and then put some ribbon through or some string, and then you can stick that on at your present, and you're already preparing yourself for next year. Gift tags aren't overly expensive, but if it's still going to save you £1.50, you might as well do it that way because it's going to be much cheaper. So there are my 10 things that frugal people back from the 1940s all the way up until the 1980s, 1990s used to do Christmas. And you can still do some of those today to save yourself a little bit of extra money. Now, some of them might feel a little bit extreme to you and you might not want to do it. But if you are really finding life tight at the moment, you're really on a budget at the moment, it might be worth giving some of them a go. If you know of any other frugal hacks back in the day, not the ones today, we all know those ones, and I'll do another video on that as well. But back in the day, what frugal hacks do you remember doing as a child? Do you remember your grandparents doing, or your grandparents telling you about something? Let us know in the comment box below. I love hearing from you. I love learning new things from you. So please do comment any other frugal hack that was done back in the day that we can do now to help us save money. I hope that you've really enjoyed this video today. I enjoyed making it. If you have, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Also, share this video with someone that you think might find it useful. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future videos from me. I hope whenever you're watching this, you're having a good morning, good day, or good evening, and I will see you on the next one. Bye, guys.